Good morning, friends. I have a new story for you. This one is one of our Native American stories. It's called The Star Maiden, and it's by Barbara Justa Esbensen. Now, I'll warn you, this story doesn't have as many pictures, so I won't flip the pages as often. Once there was a time, long, long ago, when all the tribes in the land lived in peace. There were no wars among them. Summer was always in the air. The streams were clear and pure and filled with fish. Bird song rang from every tree, and the earth was rich with everything the people needed. So here's the stream. Looks like there's a little canoe here. All day long they hunted and fished. They gathered fruit and nuts. They made birch bark canoes to carry them lightly along rivers and across wide lakes. But at night, when work was done, the people loved to watch the sky. They loved to see the silver disk of the moon climb the darkness. They loved to watch the stars flicker their icy fire. One night, when the sky above the prairie was glittering with starlight, they saw something new. So here they are, daytime, building their canoes. But here's nighttime, and there's the moon. It was the brightest star anyone had ever seen. As they watched, it began to move. It fell almost to earth. Then it stopped. They could see it hanging like a white blaze near the top of a faraway hill. What could this mean? They wondered, and they watched night after night. It never moved from the hilltop. Days went by. At last the great chief spoke. "Let some braves go into the far hills. Let them see this thing, and let them tell us what it is." Yep, so here's the star up at the hill. So the braves went into the far hills. When they came back, they said, "We saw something shining there. It hung in the top of a dark pine tree. It did not answer us. It made us feel afraid." That very night, one of those young braves had a dream. A silver maiden came into his dream. She shone with a silver light. She spoke to him. Her voice was like a thread of silver. She held out her shining arms to him. "I am tired of wandering across the sky," she said. "Your world calls to me." So here's the brave sleeping. Looks like he doesn't have a shirt on. But that's okay. People sleep differently. "I love the blowing winds. I love the colors I see below me. I love your rivers and lakes. I want to dip my hands in the clear water that shines up at me. I have watched your people. I have watched the children playing in the villages and tumbling in the prairie grass. I want to live among you. No more will I wander in the dark sky. Let your wisest people help me. Let them tell me what form I will take. Then I can live on your land forever." Aw, looks like the kids are chasing butterflies. And we got a a fox mama and two babies. The young brave woke up. It was still night. His dream was gone. The silver maiden had vanished too. When he looked at the far-off hills, he saw the shining light hanging in the top of the dark pine tree. Then he fell asleep again. Yep, so here's the star at the top of the tree. In the morning, the young brave told the chief about his strange dream. The chief called the wisest men and women together. They sat in their council circle and listened. The chief stood up. He spoke. "A star wants to live on earth," he said. "Our people will welcome her. The blue air over the prairie will fill with birdsong to honor her coming." Yep, here's some birds. "On earth she cannot be a shining star, so let her choose the form she will take. She can be a flower growing in the earth. She can be a fish swimming in the water. She can be a bird soaring in the clear air. Her home will be where she finds a peaceful resting place. Go, you must find her and tell her this." The chief and the wise ones stood up and slowly walked around their fire. They sang a song of welcome and threw sweet wood on the flames. The fragrant smoke rose up, up into the morning sky. It was a greeting to the star. Here they are dancing. The next night, the young brave left the village. He went into the faraway hills where the silver light hung in the top of a tree. He looked up, and the light floated down to where he stood. It was the silver maiden of his dream. He turned, and she followed. She drifted above him, lighting his way through the darkness. When the young brave came home, the people crept out to see the Star Maiden. Her soft light hung in the air over their wigwams all night long. Wigwams are one of the words for their houses. Morning came, and the Star Maiden slipped into the center of a rose that grew on a hillside. The people heard her voice in the air above them. This shall be my home. In this flower I shall live on earth. But the next day they heard her voice again. This rose is too far from the village, she said. I never see the people I love. So she left the rose and floated down to a wide, grassy prairie. Yep, here she is on the rose. Flowers of every color grew there. I shall live on this prairie, the Star Maiden said to the wind. She chose a small flower as blue as the sky. Here she is. This is where I will stay. But something was wrong. Every day the earth shook and trembled under her. Herds of great buffalo trampled the ground, their hooves dug at the earth. I cannot rest here, she cried out, and that night the people saw her shining light rise into the dark sky above her heads. They were sad. They were afraid she would leave forever. Their earth did not welcome her after all. She could not find a peaceful home. The Star Maiden drifted over the lake. She hung there. Her reflection floated on the dark water. Floating on the water were the reflections of all her sky sisters, too. The people watched. Then they heard her silver voice again. Sisters, sisters, she called. Stop your wandering. Find rest with me. These quiet waters will be our home. Come. Yep, here she is. Here's her reflection. The people saw the sky shake with glittering points of light. They saw the dark lake come alive with stars. What does this mean? They asked. The wise one smiled. The chief smiled too. Let us go to our beds and sleep now, he said. Our Star Maiden has found a home at last. The night wind blew. Loons called. Those were birds. Owls hooted. When morning came, something was different. Look, all the stars are in the lake now. So let's find out what happened. Hundreds of stars were floating on the blue lake. No, not stars. Hundreds of star flowers floated there. Water lilies. The Star Maiden had found her place on earth. Her star sisters had listened. They had stopped wandering across the night sky too. They had dropped into the lake to join the Star Maiden in her new home. All the people floated out in their canoes. They leaned over to touch the creamy petals. Yeah, here they are with all the stars. Oh, and this one's shining extra bright. I thought I missed a page there. Water lilies. They are stars that fell from the deep sky one night long, long ago. If you see them, touch them gently. Their petals shine in the sun, like the stars that lived and sparkled in the sky once upon a time. Water lilies. Touch them gently and remember. I kind of like that story because it gives a reason why they think the star lilies look like stars. Hope you liked it. See you next time.